Hello, hello there, and welcome to the Secret of Storytelling with Children. This is the third day of this workshop for parents, educators, and teachers of children in the early years. A big warm welcome to all of you, and thank you so much for coming on to day 3. My name is Bettina Atwill, your workshop facilitator. Now that we are on the third and last day, I want to once again pay my respects and my deep gratitude to the Wadawadong people of the Kulin Nation. I pay my respects to the past, the present, and the emerging custodians of this land. I will always be grateful for everything I am learning about this culture, as it makes me a better human being. Now today, I want to share with you a secret that's kind of personal. In fact, this is the first time I'm going to be sharing this. And you are the first people I'm sharing this to. So, this secret started many years ago, way back when I was finding my feet as an educator in my early 20s. I was just smitten by wanderlust. I wanted to travel the world and see as much of it as I could. And to sustain my traveling passion, I was the workshop facilitator of Nina's Nifty Crafts, art and craft workshops for children on top of my parents' garage. It was so great to have this experience where I formed this little foundation of my philosophy as an educator. And we were on our last few sessions. I was about to go on another big trip for a long, long time. And so I was prepping the children and getting them to understand that I was soon leaving. And the children who have been with me for over 2 years were starting to find an interest in storytelling. I started to share a story that happened to me a few weeks before. I met this group of children in another town, and they didn't have as many materials, let alone art materials, as we did. And so my friends and I came over with some Play-Doh, and we played with the children, only to be so amazed by all the sculptures that came out of it. Then I told the children how I wanted to give my extra art material to this group of children because I know that they could make so much more art when I was gone. So my group of children took on the idea. In fact, they took on so much ownership that they came up with ideas such as wrapping up the material into presents, and they even formed a little assembly line where they worked together and put the presents or the materials together. I was so impressed at how the children took so much ownership and made this about them. We were so busy, and the children were really into it. Before we knew it, it was time to go home. Our session was over, and parents were starting to come and pick the children up. Little Ria was so excited when she saw her mom. She started to scream, "Mommy, Mommy, guess what?" From the top of her voice, she shared what she was doing with her mommy. "We're making presents to give to the poor people." Right there and then, I froze. I was so embarrassed. Ria's mom looked at me astonished and dumbfounded. I don't really know what to say. Is poor even the right term? And that's when I realized how big my pitfall was. Sure, I had good intentions. I really wanted to share my material rather than keeping them in boxes and hoarding them. I wanted to give it away. At the same time, I wanted the children to have some sort of ownership to something that they were doing. And then at the same time, I also really want to give the children the space to explore charity. But at the end of the day, that main intention stemmed from my wanderlust. I just want to spread my wings, to go and travel and see what else was out there. I didn't really put the children at the very, very center. I was so wrong. I should have put the children at the center of what that story was about. Instead, I let the children revolve around my story. Now, do you see how crucial, how our perspectives, our beliefs, our ideas, our own biases can have an impact on the stories we tell? And can you see how this impact can have a further impact on the children who are listening and receiving these stories? I'm so embarrassed by that story. In fact, I could actually happily hide it in my closet of shame forever. But I'm telling you the story for a reason. And the reason behind that is not just for you so you can not have to go through this really horrifying experience as I did, but also for you to realize how important our words are, how important our stories really, really are to the children, and how we need to think about it before we just share any stories. If I were to turn back the hands of time, I would definitely be more intentional about my vocabulary. I would involve the parents, and I would take some time to check if this was actually even appropriate for that age group or for this group of children. I would take some time to observe and to really listen. And this is probably why, despite how I am a big sustainability fan and believe in how sustainability should be embedded in everything, how I will still not use certain words when it comes to being with young children. Certain words such as pollution, climate change, or sustainability. Now, can you see how important it is for us adults, grown-ups, teachers, educators, and parents to understand the kind of stories and the kind of impact it could have on the young children? Now let's backtrack. On the first day of this workshop, we took a history course, or we went down history lane to see how other cultures before the modern era educated or learned from each other through the oral tradition. And then we went deeper and looked at how the science behind this worked. We saw how serotonin, endorphins, and dopamines are brain chemicals that can be induced when stories are told and imaginations are lit. So clearly, stories are such a great tool. And it's a tool that comes from here and it's shared orally from one generation or from one person to another. It connects the people, it helps children, and it helps us understand of where we came from. It helps us understand the people around us, and it helps us understand maybe how to become a better human being to begin with. Stories really have so much credit, and I really want to explore this as much as I can as a mother, an educator, a teacher of children and students of many years. Now, I really would love for you to take part of this. If you're watching us right now, you're sitting down and you're relaxed, please say yes if you agree. Do you agree now that words can have power? If you agree, say yes. You can say yes in your head or say yes out loud. You can even say yes as loud as you can. Now, can you see how stories can help children build a strong sense of identity? Say yes if you agree. Do you see how stories we share of the places we live in can help children connect to their world, their land, and their past? Say yes if you agree. And from day 2, when we looked at playful learning, do you see how stories are responsive and can be responsive to play experiences and how they can develop a greater sense of well-being in children? Say yes if you agree. Would you want to know more ways to respond to play with stories? If you want to go deeper and learn more, say yes, a big giant yes. Do you want your children to be active and involved learners? Do you want to offer children more opportunities to use their voices as effective communicators? Say yes if you agree. Do you want them to express their thoughts, their reflections, and critical thinking? Say yes if you agree. If you agree, then you've got 2 options. You can either watch this workshop and not bother, or you can watch this workshop and go the extra mile and be the lifelong learner that you are, where you facilitate engaging opportunities with stories because you understand how important stories are to you and to the children in your care. If you choose option 2, then I would love to invite you to Storytelling and Playful Learning. This is a short course for parents, educators, and teachers of children in the early years. Storytelling and Playful Learning is the only implementation program that shows you exactly how to embrace the art of storytelling with children. Just like this workshop where we had 3 days, this short course will have 3 modules. Module 1, we go deeper and talk about the elements and the characteristics and the process of storytelling. Because storytelling is so deep and there is a science and there's an art to it. And in module 2, I share with you the world of open-ended stories and play. I love this part because this is a part where it's not about me, it's not about you, but it's about the children. And in module 3, we just go over the process and I show you how I went over this process again and again to create different stories that I share with children over the years. This total value is $97. And here's what you get in action. You get the process of observing children. You get story prompts to print and to have a go. You get to plan stories as a response to children's play. And you get different ideas of how you can use your own household materials to make your own resources. And the best part of this is you can make this your excuse to give yourself your own art therapy. The program, Storytelling and Playful Learning, is valued at $97. There are 3 modules, complete video training, PDFs, templates, and resource lists. But today, because I want to be a social entrepreneur, and I believe that education and information should be accessible to as many people as possible. I'm slashing down that price and giving it for $17. That's right, $17. Storytelling and playful learning. I really believe in this because I want as many of you to have access to this. So I'm trying to make it as accessible as I can and still pay the bills. As a bonus, you also get a consultation call with me for $70. A little thing about me is that I'm not extra special. In fact, I'm just a mother. I'm just an educator like everyone else. I love being on the floor with young children. And this is my craft. It's who I am. But what I have is a roadmap of a process of how we can tell stories with children. And I've proven this roadmap. I've proven this process again and again throughout my years, fine-tuning my craft for over 20 years. And I want to share this with you as much as I can. I want to share this with as many of you as much as I can. So what it would all cost if we were to add it all up together, the course itself is $97. The consultation is $167, and that would add up to the value of $167. But what I'm giving it out for today is $17. This is because I wholeheartedly believe that I can be a social entrepreneur. I could make awesome resources for as many parents, educators, and teachers out there and share myself to as many of you and still make it as accessible to as many of you. Whether or not you're in a first world country, in a developing country, or if you may be going through some hard times right now, I still want this to be accessible because at the end of the day, this goes back to our children, to the children you share. And our children are more connected than we think. So for now, I really want to make this as accessible to all of you for $17. Storytelling and Playful Learning, a short course for parents, educators, and teachers of children in the early years. So this is what you will see when you go on the sales page. I have a link below where you can come on, and if you do decide to take this course, that's $17. You can go on to the checkout and you can either pay by card or through PayPal. Then you are led to a welcome space that will welcome you, and you receive your login details. Keep your login details. Usually your username is your email, and you will have your own password. And inside, you get all of this juicy videos that are accompanied by PDF supplements. And you also get extra bonuses that you will only know when you register. And here's what you will overcome. You will overcome fear of playing too much and having your children not learn enough. You will overcome that fear of not being fit to be a storyteller. You will overcome that fear of children missing out on learning due to playing. You will overcome that fear of children not meeting set standardized milestones. You'll overcome fear of thinking you never have enough time. You'll overcome that fear of never having enough resources, because I will be teaching you how you can create your own resources and so much more. Very quickly, I want to remind you why you are here. You know how important you are in the lives of children. Yes, you really are. As an educator, you are so important. As a parent, as a teacher, you're even just as important. You as a grown-up, you are so important to any child in your life right now. And you want to find sustainable practices in your learning program. You want to give the children today an opportunity to make the most out of their formative years with a magical childhood. And most of all, you value the voice of the children, and you want to create a space to use it. So whether or not you choose to take this course, I just want to say that I'm still going to be here. I'll support you any way you want, any way I can in your journey as that very special adult in that young child's life. Thank you so much for taking part of The Secret of Storytelling with Children. This is me, Bettina Atwill, and if you do want to take part and go deeper into storytelling and make this a part of you, of who you are, a storyteller, then I invite you to Storytelling and Playful Learning. Thank you so much for your time, and thank you so much for being here to Storytelling and Beyond. Goodbye now. It's me, Bettina Atwill.